Fame may glitter on the outside, but behind the lights and cameras, it can crumble in an instant. One day you're living in a dream, money flowing, crowds cheering, and the world at your feet. The next, you're facing a harsh reality that no celebrity status can fix. From mental breakdowns and addictions to legal battles and betrayals, these once celebrated stars discovered how fickle Hollywood can be. But what's most haunting is how swiftly a glamorous life can turn into a desperate struggle for survival. Brett Butler soared into American living rooms during the mid-1990s as the frank, charismatic lead of Grace Under Fire. Audiences fell for her offbeat humor and southern accent, and producers confidently bet on a long-running hit. At first, they got their wish. Ratings were robust, and Brett looked like she had it all together. Behind the laughter, however, things were unraveling fast. Substance abuse crept into her daily life, and rumors circulated about fiery temper tantrums on set. Co-workers worried she'd show up late or slur her words during table reads. As her behavior worsened, network execs had no choice but to pull the plug, axing the show in 1998. Suddenly stripped of her main source of income, Brett spiraled financially. She tried rehab stints and sporadic cameos in small productions, but none offered the stability she once enjoyed. By 2011, she was reportedly bouncing between homeless shelters in Georgia, a far cry from her days of standing ovations. Later, a friend started a GoFundMe to keep her from being evicted in Los Angeles. Would she ever climb back from the brink, or was this fan-favorite comedian doomed to fade away for good? A fitness model and magazine cover favorite, Lonnie Willison once thrived in the glitzy circles of Hollywood. Photographers clamored for her radiant presence, and her marriage to Baywatch actor Jeremy Jackson drew tabloid attention. On the surface, they were the epitome of a Hollywood power couple. Fit, attractive, and constantly on red carpets. Reality painted a different picture. After divorcing Jackson in 2014, Lonnie's mental health deteriorated, fueling a descent into reported substance abuse. Within 2 years, her finances had dried up, forcing her to surrender her apartment and car. She vanished from the public eye, only to resurface in heartbreaking tabloid photos that showed her homeless on the streets of Santa Monica, rummaging through trash and pushing a shopping cart. The contrast between her past glamour and current desperation stunned fans. Suddenly, she wasn't just a former model. She was another tragic reminder of how a few disastrous turns can obliterate even the most privileged lifestyles. But was there a shot at redemption, or would Lonnie remain trapped in this dire situation? Gary Coleman lit up TV screens as Arnold Jackson on Different Strokes, delivering a signature catchphrase that turned him into a cultural icon almost overnight. His comic timing and cherubic features made him the ultimate child star, and many believed he'd spend a lifetime basking in the glow of that early success. But behind the scenes, Gary's life was anything but easy. Kidney issues required multiple transplants, stunting his growth and limiting his health. Even more devastating, he discovered that his parents and advisors, those entrusted with protecting his earnings, had allegedly drained his bank accounts. He won a lawsuit against them in 1989, but the bulk of his fortune was already gone. Strapped for cash, Coleman declared bankruptcy in 1999. And occasional trouble with the law only added to his woes. By the time of his death in 2010 at age 42, he had barely any assets. Fans who had adored him during his prime were left stunned that a star so beloved could suffer such a quiet and painful downfall. Would his story serve as a lesson for future child actors, or simply fade into another Hollywood tragedy? Erin Moran captured viewers' hearts as the spunky Joni Cunningham on Happy Days, eventually landing her own spin-off, Joni Loves Chachi. As one of TV's most recognizable faces in the 1970s, she seemed destined for a long, thriving career. Yet when both shows ended, so did the majority of Moran's acting opportunities. Reports of depression soon surfaced. By the late 2000s, she faced foreclosure on her California home and had to move into a cramped trailer with her mother-in-law in Indiana. Tempers apparently flared, and rumors spread that she'd been kicked out after a fight. Photos surfaced of her wandering around looking disheveled, fueling speculation that she was broke and homeless. Then, in 2017, news broke that Moran had died at 56. An autopsy revealed advanced cancer, dismissing initial gossip about an overdose. Fans mourned the tragic end of someone once central to a beloved sitcom. How did a promising child star end up in such dire circumstances, and why didn't Hollywood's embrace last? Margot Kidder soared to fame in the late 70s, starring as the fearless Lois Lane in Superman, and captivating horror lovers as Kathy Lutz in the Amityville Horror. Her on-screen presence brimmed with confidence, and fans assumed life off-camera mirrored her fearless roles. They were mistaken. In 1990, A catastrophic car accident left her temporarily paralyzed and unable to work, severely denting her finances. Just as she was struggling to rebuild her life, she fell into a series of mental health crises, culminating in a highly publicized breakdown in 1996. Headlines claimed she was found homeless, disoriented, and virtually unrecognizable. Despite her fame, neither studios nor the public could save her from the chaos unfolding behind the scenes. Kidder eventually found a foothold, speaking candidly about her issues and managing to land smaller roles. But in 2018, tragedy struck again. She took her own life by overdosing on alcohol and drugs. How did this once revered star, a household name for legions of Superman fans, spiral to such a heartbreaking end? These cautionary stories highlight how thin the line between fortune and misfortune can be. For each celebrity who lives lavishly in the spotlight, countless others are haunted by debt, scandal, or betrayal. When major paychecks arrive early, especially during childhood or youth, oversight often lags, letting unscrupulous advisors, destructive habits, and legal entanglements wreak havoc. In each case, a bright exterior masked trouble brewing underneath. Whether mental breakdowns, medical woes, or crippling addictions, these stars discovered that applause and adoration can vanish overnight. And once the money and fame are gone, the climb back to stability can feel nearly impossible, especially under harsh public scrutiny. So what are the lessons? Perhaps it's a reminder that behind every million-dollar contract, there's a person grappling with real vulnerabilities. Fame amplifies both blessings and curses, magnifying success one moment, then catastrophe the next. Let these stories serve as a sobering look at how easily even the mightiest can fall, and, hopefully, a reminder that for those still searching for answers, a glimmer of hope may still lie on the other side of tragedy.